So welcome, and we'll get going. So just settle into your meditation posture as best you can. So for those of us who are sitting on a chair and have your feet flat on the floor, so really try and get a sense of the full coverage of your soles of your feet on the ground. So try and be in contact with the earth that's supporting your feet. You know, the earth that supports us as we walk around. We tend to take it for granted. We think it's always solid and it's going to be there always until the ground starts to shake a bit, as it does here sometimes in California. And have your knees about a hip's width apart and really be sitting on top of your sits bones. Lengthen the spine. Allow the shoulders to drop down and the head to tip, just to tip slightly forward, to hinge from the top of the spine. And the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose if they were open. So you can keep them closed. And just relax the jaw and bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes, the back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, the jaw, back of the neck, the shoulders. Allow the shoulders to drop down, relax the throat and the chest and the belly. And then just bring to mind your breath as we start to move inside. So one thing that I've always found helpful, and as we were taught in the Theravada Vipassana tradition that I was learning from many years ago, is to feel this or just feel the sensation of the breath as it's moving in and out of the nostrils. So it's a little bit warmer as you breathe in, a little bit cooler as you breathe in, a little bit warmer as you're breathing out. So just notice that. And then notice if there are any sounds in your environment, and just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow them with the mind. And then notice what thoughts are arising. And perhaps rather than immediately just following a story, getting caught up in memory, getting caught up in fantasy, you can maybe label those thoughts as they arise. Take a step back. Be objective about what it is you are noticing. And you could probably say to yourself, thinking. Right now I'm thinking. Or if you're having a memory, you could just say remembering. Or if you are caught up in a story, you can just say like that, oh, there's a story. So just imagine you're sitting on the bank of a river and you're just watching that river flow on by. And just notice, is it fast? Is the water clear or muddy? Is there debris in the water? And just notice, while you're sitting on the bank, you're free from the river. So let's just bring to mind some people. So people in your life that you are extremely fond of and you love and you have close relationships with. And these could be, parents or children or spouses, your best friends, your work colleagues, your schoolmates. And then there's always going to be someone in our life that's kind of irritating, that maybe we have a little bit of aversion for, or maybe we just really need to stay away from them because they've harmed us. And then there's those people in our life who are complete and utter strangers. And the interesting thing, and you may have noticed in your own life, that all these relationships, they change place. And they can change place at any time. Nothing's fixed. Your mind might change towards the person that you think today you don't like. Maybe tomorrow they'll be your best friend. One thing to think, and also remember that they are all equal, same as you and me. They have this wish to be happy and this wish to be free from suffering, and in having this unbelievable capacity for an enlightened mind. So do bring to mind all these people of your life as we motivate to do this session today for the benefit of all these people and for ourselves as we're moving along our path, our spiritual path. So in this practice, remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we're creating negativity with our mind. We can equally change it by creating positivity with our mind instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. So it makes sense that given that we don't want any more suffering, it makes sense logically to remove the karmic seeds or they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, if you have them, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And then also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has methods that we can use to purify. So we're not needing Buddha to forgive us. We're not looking for a higher power to sort of take all of this stuff away. We're doing the work ourselves, and we're purifying our own selves by relying upon this medicine. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. So Shayla will show an image in a little minute. Here it comes. So there it is. So this is pretty much a two-dimensional image, a drawing. It's a painting. So, in reality, it wouldn't be like that. The Buddha is made of light. So just imagine this light body sort of looking a little bit like what you're seeing in front of you above the crown of your head. And if you have a teacher, if you have a spiritual guide, a mentor, you can imagine that this is the mind of that person manifesting in this form for your benefit. So if you're a practicing Buddhist, this just helps you to feel a little bit more connected to the Buddha, because the teacher that we have is a living guide for us. So there's some of these Buddhas that we see on paintings, so it's a little bit abstract. So imagine you've got this light body above the crown of your head, and sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And his beautiful radiant face. Vajrasattva's eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. There's a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. And his arms are crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra. And this represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently, and then perhaps remember someone who's harmed you, and just to have a sense of compassion for them, like a wish for them to be free from suffering, and make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, which is where we're doing the mantra and the visualization. So we start with purifying the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So the next is the purification of speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying, inappropriate speech, talking badly about others behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you, and not being able to express yourself effectively, all of this kind of thing. Imagine this is all purified by this powerful nectar filling you. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahom Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe. So feel happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. So just every single syllable that falls out of your mouth benefits the mind of the person who is hearing it, the sentient being who's hearing it, and including yourself. So next is the purification of the mind. And imagine Vajrasattva again very compassionately sending powerful beams of light this time from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch, the light instantly dispels the darkness. So you can just imagine the same the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra. All the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment and depression and neediness and anger and bitterness and violence and grudges and resentment and jealousy and disappointments, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagawan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahom pe vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita Dida Miboa, Sitokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anorakta Miboa, Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe, and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Miboa, Sitokaya Miboa, Sipokaya Miboa, Anorakta Miboa, Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe, and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe, and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasapa Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anorakta Meboa, Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And so next is a purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And just imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Om Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe and Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsasawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So now we come to the power of resolve, and this is a really crucial step in this purification practice, is to make a decision to try and refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. So we're a little bit late, so just very briefly, bring something to mind that you've been working on. Again, rejoice in your efforts And then also think about something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow night. And whether you can only manage it for 30 seconds or 5 seconds or an hour or overnight while you're sleeping, that's fantastic. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and just absorbs into you through your crown. And you think, my guru is body, speech, and mind, my teacher, my spiritual mentor. Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. So we can also think there's this little section on this subject called emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand that concept of emptiness, place your mind there for a moment. And we can think that perhaps all phenomena are empty. They don't exist from their own side. We can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate the merit, the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, long life, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be instantly fulfilled. And so our teacher very recently passed away from, he had altitude sickness up in Assam on the border of Tibet and Nepal. So he came down to Kathmandu and passed away there. So this is a prayer for the quick return of his reincarnation. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general and the teachings of the victorious Jamgon Tsongkhapa and hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma, holding the 3 vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through your loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly. Beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the victorious one through listening, reflecting, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. And for Lama Ursul, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Well, congratulations to our new 2 people. You made it the whole way through the practice. Thank you. Thank you for saying. I really appreciate it. And lots of love. Sleep well, everybody. I will see some of you tomorrow evening. Okay. Thank you for coming. Thanks for hosting, and sleep well, everybody.